Avatar and Ant-Man have new trailers. DC Films has a new pair of bosses. Black Adam still reigns at the box office, but is it enough? And finally, Kevin Bacon is officially in the MCU as, you guessed it, Kevin Bacon. That's right, Nominators, it's Thursday, and we are back. I'm your host, the Geek Boy. Joining me tonight is the overlord of the operating system, the Reverend IT Geek, as well as Goldar, the gamer with the golden throat. And finally, the commander of the 918 Northern Command Post, Mr. Narwhal, is in the house as we kick off another episode of this fantastic week. How are we doing out there, guys?
Doing awesome. Boy, you timed that just right. That was like a perfect time.
I
didn't double click it or nothing.
I know.
Knock on some wood, and
you take a couple of weeks off. You get re-energized. You get that timing back down, and
exactly.
Hey, maybe that. It sounds like we all have audio too.
I know. It sounds like we should just maybe end the show right now and just like end on a high note. I don't know about that. It's a winning night. It's a winning night right now.
Yeah, folks, this is the best it gets. This is the best it gets tonight. So we're back at, we had a nice little fanboys vacation. That is, unless you're Mr. Narwhal and you were running the Fanboys 918 sweatshop. Well,
that's right. I had to keep the Oompa Loompas moving. We have to, we have to churn out those stories, and I am a little upset that we didn't get to do a Halloween show, because I actually had a costume already bought and picked out. It was very apropos. Wait a minute, hold on here. Wait a minute. There we go. I even had a costume all picked out and ready to go, but no, you had to have a vacation.
Yeah, I like it.
The fangirls said we were having a vacation.
I ain't gonna lie. I was needing a vacation, so I was all for it and stuff like that. So
yeah,
me too. Me too.
You don't realize how bad you need one until you get it.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
That's right.
Well, hey, we got Courtney and Lisa in the chat. Welcome tonight, everyone.
All right.
Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, and I want to hope that everyone who tunes in tonight is going to enjoy tonight's broadcast. We're glad to be back. We hope you enjoy tonight's show. We want all your comments, even if you have to be watching after the fact. We will do our best to respond. And if you have a good time tonight, please leave a like and share this video all around the interwebs. And if you're so inclined, jump over to our YouTube pages. Many of you have been. Our subs are up over there, so we want to thank you very much. I want to ask you to like and subscribe to it as well. Mash that bell, turn it gray, so that when we drop new content, you'll get a notification. We're trying to grow our presence on that platform. And speaking of other platforms we're growing on, I want to remind everyone that Fanboys 918 has partnered with an OTT. That's an over-the-top service, kind of like Roku. It's an app that you can download on your smart TV called Audacity TV. They rolled out their app earlier this year. And for the foreseeable future, they'll be carrying our best segments of this program that Mr. Narwhal assures me that they do exist. Is that right, sir?
I checked.
All right. So he's kind of editing those together for us. We got some other content that they're going to host. In addition to this show's greatest hits, they are also carrying one of I guess what Goldar's segment that you want to tell us about what you're doing over there, Goldar.
Yeah, so I head up Fanboys Nightcrawlers. I play a horror or action game every Sunday. Drop an episode. Didn't drop it the last couple of weeks because I've been on vacation. We'll get back into regular rotation this weekend. We are playing The Last of Us. I know I said we were going to save this, but I'm just going to drop some in here.
Okay.
Discovered that The Last of Us television show. So I am playing the first The Last of Us game. I've already played The Last of Us 2, so this is the story. So we pick up with Ellie and Joel. Joel is basically the main protagonist, as well as Ellie, on their journey across the United States. Basically, Joel's task is to deliver Ellie to the Fireflies because she is immune to this infection that has broken out, that has turned people into these mutant creatures that are basically fast-moving zombies in early stages, but they turn into what's called clickers, which are basically these creatures that function just the way similar to the way that bats do. They use echolocation to find where you're at, but they can't because they can't see you. And it's a challenging game. Those clickers, they kill you in one hit. Like if they grab you, you're
Damn.
but the ones that are
Welcome
not
to real
mutated,
life.
right? The ones that are not mutated, you can at least fight them off with a fist fight or break a bat over their head or something. But this game it's amazing. I loved the first one, and I love the second one even more. In fact, The Last of Us Part 2 is probably my favorite game. It is so emotionally drawing and draining by the time that you finish the game. Like you feel like you've given up something or lost something
really?
because you're part of the story with the characters.
Oh, wow.
Because they force you to play both the protagonist and the antagonist, which makes you think who is really the protagonist and who is really the antagonist in part 2. So I love that game so much. Like it's incredible. It's incredible. If you ever get a chance to play it, it's 100% worth it. I would recommend it to anyone. I would recommend the first game to anyone as well, because it's a unique game. It's got a lot of fun gameplay. The story is beautiful. The graphics are beautiful, especially with the PlayStation 5 remaster. It's incredible to look at.
And you've been playing it on the remaster,
So I've been playing the first remaster, which was on PlayStation 4, and it's still pretty good looking.
Really?
Not nearly as good as the PlayStation 5, but it's still a beautiful game. Just the story, the graphics, everything.
And those segments are I know The Last of Us Part 2 are already up on Audacity. But the new segments for Last of Us Part 1 are dropping on the YouTube page right now, right?
Yes, they are dropping on our YouTube page. I share them to Facebook for everybody to kind of grab a link over there if they're following us on Facebook. But if you're subscribed to us on YouTube, you can catch it there. That's where I exclusively post it because the quality of the video is much, much better posting to YouTube versus Facebook. So definitely check it out. It's a wonderful game. You'll definitely enjoy yourself if you kick back and watch.
Rev, it looks like the chat room is blowing up.
Yep. So basically, the Queens join us.
Hello.
And Lori St. Clair's join us. So basically, I said hello to Lisa, and Lisa said the Queen is here, which I missed, and I said hello, my Queen. And basically, then Lisa was like, "Nightcrawler's awesome. I've missed it." The Queen said, "Lisa, hey B5 babe, B5 babe, checking up on the guys tonight. Yep, you need to keep an eye on them. You know how they are. Glad to have you back from JK. Lori's giving us the wavy hand.
Yeah.
Stupid autocorrect caught me on Lori with an I instead of a Y, so got that corrected. And then Lisa ended with, "I prefer watching Goldar play. Pretty sure I just keep getting killed." So been there, done that. So just to let you guys know, we did have a little segment where I was playing our new Nightcrawler trailer, which sounds a little higher than our conversation, so I do apologize and I've edited it. But that's our new Nightcrawler trailer. For those that haven't seen it yet, that's the first time I think I played it on my production. I don't know if the Geek Boy's been playing it regularly on when he's producing or not. But
I've played it a couple times, depending on how long we talk about it. But yeah, it's great.
It's a great segment, great trailer. That and I have to bring it because that Mr. Goldar is the one that put that together, and that's a way step up from what we had before, where we just had to fade in on the Nightcrawler. So kudos to there, Goldar, for that. Appreciate you putting that together, and definitely upping our game as usual.
Yeah. Absolutely. We you know what, Rev, if you and I could come up to their standards, we might have something here.
Well, you're the brains of the group. They're the talent and graphics designer. All I am is just the beauty. So that's
right. That's right. And so modest about it as well.
I know. I try to keep it real, just keep it low key. So just gotta love it. Just gotta love it.
Since the B5 babe is here, we probably need to talk about our Friday night block of programming.
You want to break her heart? So early in the day.
What? Here, we're just all gonna eat the toad together. The best part about eating the toad early in the show is it's the worst thing you're gonna eat the whole time you're on the air.
You hope.
We hope. Yeah. Yeah. Hey now, They say, and I'm going to quote Citizen Jakar here, that all of life can be broken down into moments of transition and moments of revelation. And that's where we are right now. We're transitioning from our Halloween block of programming, which was Friday Night Stalker, and hopefully we're going to transition into our James Bond programming. We hope. We have yet to review the footage.
Some of you are probably going to be thankful we haven't released the footage yet. But that's
you know what? I heard Goldar say he wanted to just let it run raw footage and he just do a reaction video to it.
I mean, I feel like it'd be hilarious. Like just like I'm just watching it and then like it just trails off a little bit and then I pause and I'm just like,
yeah.
What did he say? Back that up.
Yeah.
Let me try to interpret this.
See, that's what actually we should, because then you could pause that video and says, let me take a moment and try to translate what the hell you are seeing here tonight. And
Goldar be all dressed up like
click on my
yes. Goldar be all dressed up like Rod Serling smoking a fake cigarette.
It's like, tonight, the fanboys tried to speak about the Daniel Craig era and failed horribly.
So,
tonight's episode.
Oh yeah. B5 Babe says the Craig segment is gold.
Well, I'll do it if I can be a little silhouette down to the corner making fun of y'all.
I think both of y'all should do it instead. Yeah, did we lose Goldar?
We lost him. He's
back.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Been fighting off a cold.
I understand.
I think you know what that would actually be perfect if Mr. Narwhal and I did that as MST 3K.
Y'all should do MST 3K right there on that shit.
Oh, man.
Lisa's saying, "All right, give me the bad news already." So
yeah, well, so we're having no programming tomorrow night. So there's no Night Stalker, no Bond, no Babylon 5. Just we got a dark night because I've also heard that apparently the world ends tomorrow when the storms roll through. Is what they're if you believe Travis Meyer. I mean, they're letting kids out of school early for rain. I mean, my God, man.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know there was storms tomorrow. It's still supposed to be like 70 degrees until like next weekend. Like, what kind of storms could they be?
Dude, they're saying it's a massive storm coming in, and they actually moved Friday night football games for high schools to Thursday night because the storms are supposed to be so bad.
We are raising a generation of weaklings.
Wow. I didn't
we
think
used to do it back in the day. We ran around with lightning rods and
Yes,
we were
exactly.
running through the storm.
And we were thankful. Thankful
right.
we had the lightning rods. Hey, Violet Marie is actually watching.
Hey,
Violet,
welcome.
how's it going?
Welcome very much. So anyway, so there'll be no programming tomorrow night.
Well, there is programming on our YouTube page. There's
Yes.
a whole bunch of programming out there.
Yes.
So if you're jonesing, go out there and watch some of our stuff.
Absolutely. We've got some great stuff out there.
Exactly. 100.
And then I guess let's do one last look at that if I can speak. One last piece of feckless shilling. We have recently opened our swag store for those
I got
who
the trailer. Did we want to try to play it?
Just go ahead. You got audio with it?
I got audio with it.
All right, let's cue it up.
It's like before we get started, I'm going to check it out here, make sure before we do anything.
Oh boy.
All right. Hey, I'm just making sure. All right. So we should do some fair warning here, people, that, thanks to our wonderful team here who's won a major award, and there's only one of us here that's done that to this point. He put this together for us, and so it's the first time I think we're ever broadcasting it live.
Yes.
So you guys sit back, relax, enjoy, and break out that wallet or then that credit card. Prepare to buy some
or any unopened Obi-Wan Kenobi action figures from the original Star Wars collection.
Exactly. All right, here we go.
All
Here's our Fanboys 918 swag promo.
What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising. What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Come, walk this way, take a look. We put the name on everything. The t-shirt, the lunchbox, the breakfast cereal. Kids love this one. Merchandising, merchandising. where the real money is made.
There it was. Our official
Yeah.
swag store is open, people.
Swag store is
Those are-
open.
Oh, look, we even got a certain first buyer here, the Fanboys 918 mug.
That's right.
So tell us, Mr. Narwhal, how hot does it keep the beverages and how cold does it keep the beverages?
It keeps it hot and cold. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. There you go. You guys now have a true witness of the greatness of this product.
And a
That-
completely unbiased one, I might add.
Exactly. Lisa
And
came back.
it's due to your generosity as viewers that during the Fanboys 918 vacation that they were able to pay for, I believe, like one soda while you were on the trip.
Yes.
No, it was one of the Blinky Rings.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we won that. We won that. in
We won
trivia.
that fair and square.
Right.
On Bond
Yeah.
trivia, I might add,
Bond
which I was sober when I did.
Yes. So, all right. So we had the Queen come in. A friend of ours, Ron. He's a storm chaser. He'll be on call for storm chasing tomorrow night.
Okay.
Lisa just came in. Come to the dark side. We've got Fanboys 918 underwear.
We do, as a matter
We
of
do actually.
And Sprout is here.
Sprout's in the house.
Sprouts in the house. All right, gang, let's get serious for a minute. We've got, unfortunately, 3 RIPs to do tonight.
Yeah.
Again, a couple of these happened either right before we left on vacay, and I think the other 2 happened while we were gone. But let's see. I'll tell you what. I'm going to bring up the first one, which is I'm going to let Mr. Narwhal speak about Jules Bass.
Yeah. So, while the name itself may not ring a bell for you, when you put him together with his producing partner, Rankin Bass was responsible for so much of our childhoods growing up. Pretty much any of the stop motion holiday shows that I know I watched obsessively back in the day. All of those were produced by Rankin Bass. Everything from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to The Year Without a Santa Claus and
Santa Claus Coming to Town.
Santa Claus Coming to Town, all of those. Plus, he also was responsible for projects like the animated Hobbit and the Return of the King films that came out. And in addition to that, he also produced things like Thundercats and Silverhawks.
I did not know that he was
Tiger
involved with.
Sharks.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I did not know.
Animated Silverhawks and Thundercats. He was a big part of it as well.
He did so much for our childhoods. And it's one of those things that if we didn't have him, we wouldn't have a lot of the pop culture that we have today. So he will be missed.
Yes.
He was Mr. White Christmas. He was Mr. Snow. He was Mr. 10 Below. Friends called him the Snow Miser. So yes, and there was even some that they listed here. I'm looking at his resume. I'd never seen Mad Monster Party.
Oh yeah, that was.
I've never seen that one. Yeah,
one of those classic, rarely seen that I should probably throw up on our page.
There you go.
If I say if you find it, let's do it. Especially since we've got the winter solstice holiday coming up. Let's see if we can find some of that stuff. The next one, I know that the Queen's attached personally to these next 2, and she was going to try to join us, but due to some technical issues, we couldn't get her on. But Robbie Coltrane passed away at the age of 72, October 22nd, and most people of the younger generation know him as Hagrid from the Harry Potter films, but I'll know him from a lot of he was in a show called Cracker. It's not what you think, young kids.
The British show. My mom.
Yeah, the British show.
That, actually.
Yeah, he was Cracker. He was also what I'll always remember it for is he was Vladimir Dmitrievich Ziakovsky from GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough. In one of the few times the Bond series attempted to establish a little bit of continuity, and they did a pretty good job of it, actually.
He was also in one of the Oceans movie.
Yep, he was.
And he was
actually in two of them.
Yes, he was. He was in Crawl. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again.
Crawl with Liam Neeson, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Lisa just posted. I first saw him with a young Liam Neeson in Crawl, and the Queen came out. You stole my camera, R.I.P.
Well, stealing implies premeditation. I think this was more of a drunk packing thing. We were just the Bond night was quite wild, folks. What can we say? But I mean, this is it's. We've been talking a lot about as some of these celebrities have been passing away, how pieces of our childhood are getting chinked away, and now it's kind of sad because now I'm seeing Jessica's childhood, and the Queen and the generation that's quote unquote kind of younger than us. He was in the '90s classic Nuns on the Run too. Let's not forget that. But yeah, and it's kind of sad to see. I'll never forget. When the actor that played Chekhov in the 2009 Star Trek, Anton Yelchin, when he had that accident, James Cawley posted, "It breaks my heart to know that the new generation of fans has already lost a member of their crew." I mean, and he's right, and it's kind of how this is. Harry Potter will never be the same for folks without Hagrid. And the actress.
It's funny you say that. Is that definitely, I would assume, just like the Queen now, is that whenever you watch Harry Potter and you see all the actors we've lost throughout that series, every time we lose someone, it takes on a special meaning. Well, I mean, I tell you, losing Hagrid is probably almost the biggest impact, I think, to that series. Those that are familiar and love it and watch it, losing Hagrid, I mean, the Protector, basically is just probably then more devastating than any other loss in that franchise, I would think.
Even more so than losing the original Richard Harris as Dumbledore.
He got to play the role in only 2 films, while Hagrid was out all 8 films and stuff like that. I mean, everyone loved Richard Harris. I mean, he was just a classic. So I mean, not to have that say that wasn't impactful, it's not. But again, seeing Hagrid own that role from start to finish, like I said, as the Protector, bringing Harry to his Muggle family, all the way to the end, carrying his body into the courtyard and everything. It's just, he's always been that presence there. And I don't know, just like I said, with losing Robbie Coltrane, you've kind of lost a little bit of I'm not lost, probably it's more impactful to see him involved in that franchise and to know that he's gone.
Well, and he was in that, he inhabited that role for 10 years. Yeah. I mean, he between 2001 2011. I mean,
so who do you think was more impactful, either Robbie Coltrane or Alan Rickman?
Oh, man. So man, I'll tell you, that's a hard one, just because of the fact that I already had so much admiration for Alan Rickman. I mean, I've had him since Die Hard, so anything he ever did, I would watch. That was more impactful for me. But like for the Queen, it's Robbie Coltrane. But if you threw it between those two, I would think, if she's still watching, she's watching Harry Potter now. So and she said there's so many gone. So I don't know if she's catching this, but I'd have to say losing Hagrid versus Snape. I think she's more impacted by losing Hagrid.
And that's kind of strange because, we've had this conversation, again, not to jump backwards in the program, but we've had this conversation about Babylon 5. We've lost so many of those actors, and this is kind of like, this is a close second. I mean, granted, Richard Harris was already well along in years, but
yes,
but Alan Rickman and Robbie Coltrane were not. So,
well, I'd actually heard that Richard Harris, when he became ill between the filming of 2 and 3, he was like, "Don't you start without me? Don't you start without me?" Yeah, and basically, unfortunately, Yeah. So Queen just came back. You don't know Snape was protecting him until the end. Hagrid was hurt. So, so yeah. So I mean, sorry, I lost my train of thought seeing that.
No, that's
I forgot where I was. Never mind. Move along. Move along. Nothing to see
move
here.
along.
Nothing to-
Well, the next one is another one that's shocking and unexpected, and that is I'm just going to refer to him as a pop culture icon. How about that? I mean, he's an actor. He was kind of a comedian, but he in his last few years he'd become a social media content creator, and that's Leslie Jordan.
Well, shit.
How y'all doing? Yeah.
That is almost like one of the iconic catchphrases of 2020.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion.
Well, and the funny thing is I looked at his IMDb page and his filmography and television. He's been around he's been acting since the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But everything.
Yeah. My God, he was in Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
He was in everything from Jason Goes to Hell to Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
That shows you. And
that's
so
range, people. That's range.
And so many of the 80s and 90s classics, things like Fall Guy, Night Court, Murphy Brown, Newhart, Lois and Clark, Coach, Wings, Dharma and Greg, Caroline in the City, Star Trek Voyager.
Yes.
Will and Grace. I mean, he has spanned decades in various roles, and so you may not know him, but boy, when you talk about a show, he will automatically come to the top. Like, oh yeah, he was. I forgot about that.
But it's funny. It wasn't until probably the last 5 years that he kind of broke out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of we've seen this before with some of these actors that have been around forever that suddenly become an overnight success. I'm doing in air quotes, but and then when the pandemic hit, he was a staple, man. Every morning. Well, shit, how y'all doing today? I mean, get up every morning watching. Funny as hell. I mean,
great.
Oh yeah.
Great.
He had 5.8 million followers in 2020. I mean,
we need to find that magic right there.
We got that right.
I mean, I don't know if we can steal. Well, shit. So, but I don't think we can steal that. So.
And again, it was an unexpected passing. He was an automobile accident, I believe.
There was rumor that they believe that a medical emergency happened when he was behind the wheel.
He had some sort of issue in the car, like a heart attack or stroke or something, and it caused him to have the car wreck.
Yes. So we don't want anyone out there thinking that that we were trying to insinuate that anything drug or alcohol was related.
Right.
What in a man of his age and everything, you can easily see how a medical condition could have definitely been. So anyway.
And of course, the Queen posted his catchphrase. Of course. So again, he will be sorely missed. We saw this, I believe, when we were actually on vacation. We toyed with "Do we go live?" But no one wanted to pay that in the middle of the ocean interweb bill. So,
well, I'll tell you right now, those who are cruisers, if you're on the Royal Caribbean, if you are going to do the internet package, it's actually pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
For streaming. I don't know what it is for upload, which is what it would take for doing a show there. But for downloads, Queen was watching her movies every night. Every night we got the Harry Potter going in the room. Don't forget your tablet or your computer with an HDMI cable. You can plug right into the TV, and it was good enough for a cabin. So.
By the way, I'm still waiting on our check from Royal Caribbean for that nice little promo that we did there.
Yep.
That's right.
Well, it's in the mail from what I understand.
I'm sure it is. They mailed it from sea.
I'm going to actually, I want to hear it's going to be a credit on your next cruise. You won't see it on your bill, but it's there.
They put that credit in a bottle and threw it overboard.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, we're having a good time celebrating these RIPs, because the people that we're talking about brought us such joy. I think, we always try to make it celebratory of whoever the person is. But, like I said, to have these three and have them be such a joyous part of our lives has been kind of tough. But we're going to move on unless anyone has any more comments they want to say about either one of these folks. Because another thing that dropped, again, thanks to Mr. Narwhal for keeping the page up and current, is we got our first trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Is it Quantumania?
Quantumania.
Quantumania. Man, this looks amazing. I mean, just I love the look of everything in this trailer. I mean, I'm not going to speak to the potential plot points. I'm going to let Goldar and some of the other folks that are more knowledgeable about this plot line speak. But man, just when they get into that quantum realm in this trailer and you start seeing like all the different things, like this looks really freaking cool. I haven't been this excited about something in a long time. So Goldar, what are your thoughts on this?
I thought the trailer looked pretty fascinating. Based on what I've been hearing and what we've seen in the trailer, it looks like almost like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where they get sucked into the quantum realm by accident. And Ant-Man has to help Kang with something in order to help, release his family or get his family back. So my thought is that this is going to be yet another heist film where Ant-Man has to steal something from someone. My assumption is that Ant-Man has to steal something from MODOK to get it back for Kang, or from, I think it's Kronos is his name, or I can't remember his specific name, but whoever Bill Murray is playing. Mr. Narwhal, you might correct me here.
Yeah, he's playing a character named Krylar, and that is a incredibly obscure character. From I actually had to go look it up. He's an Incredible Hulk character from the Incredible Hulk number 156 from 1972. One appearance.
Oh my God!
Hell, that's a deep cut right there.
Well, they figured they probably couldn't get Bill Murray back.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, this is going to be one and done."
Yeah.
But that's
like he'll show up on set one day, and that's like that's all we need him for. One day.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's my assumption as to what this plot is. I do not think they'll kill Kang, or if they do, of course, Kang will just come back, because you kill him in one timeline, he just appears again later. He's inevitable. But the rumors also that are interesting that I heard is that MODOK is Darren Cross from the first Ant-Man movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
That's what I've heard as well.
So and the reason why everybody thinks that is because Evangeline Lilly tagged Darren Cross in an Instagram post, I believe, when they were talking about Ant-Man 3, like they were looking at the script for it. She tagged him in it and then deleted it right afterwards.
Huh.
So I'm like,
interesting. Whoopsie.
So we'll see if that's the case. But I'm curious. I'd like to see. I can't remember the name of the actor, but I'd like to see him come back and play.
Oh, Corey,
something or other.
Stahl. That's right.
Corey Stahl. Yeah.
Corey Stahl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd definitely like to see Corey Stahl come back. For those that don't know, he was like the lead actor in the Strain on FX. It was a book by
was it Michael Crichton?
No, it was. Oh man, now I can't think of the writer. It was Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah.
The show was okay, but the books were brilliant.
Oh, really?
The books were brilliant. The TV show was just okay. That's how it goes. Right. Still entertaining and still very good show, but he was the lead actor on that show. And that's where I kind of developed a love for his acting skills. And then when I saw him in Ant-Man, I was like, oh, okay, this guy's legit. And then I saw him in something else. I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been like, what was that show that Kevin Spacey was doing?
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Yeah.
I think he was on something like that. It was some kind of political drama for a little bit.
Yeah, he's on House of Cards.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Saw him in House of Cards. He was fantastic. So I'm a big fan of Corey Stahl, so I hope he comes back. I love Paul Rudd. Again, we talked about him earlier. God doesn't make a bad film. Even if the film's bad, you don't say the film's bad because Paul Rudd is in it, right?
Right.
He only enhances films. He enhances films in a way that The Rock doesn't. Because
oh man,
when you know a film is shit and they bring The Rock in, it's because The Rock is trying to lift the film up, right? But if Paul Rudd is in a shit film, you don't even think about how shit the film is. You just think about, isn't it
this
so
is Paul
great to
Rudd.
see
I love
Paul
Paul
Rudd?
Rudd.
I love
I
Paul
love
Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Isn't it so great to see him again?
Paul Rudd's that friend. You're just like, man, I'm just happy to see you.
It's like what
Yeah.
they used to do in the 80s with Eddie Murphy. You know, it's like, let's put Eddie Murphy in this. This movie sucks. Let's write Eddie a check.
Exactly.
So here's what I'm curious about. You know, so we know that Bill Murray's in this, and you know we have rumors about MODOK. I'm wondering if we're going to see a possible Loki cameo, because if you remember from Loki season 1, the big city that they're all in, Chronopolis, the belief amongst a lot of the fans is that that's the city that you see during the trailers of Quantumania, and we know that Kang is essentially the head of the TVA, as we see at the end of Loki season 1.
Right.
Are we going to see a little bit of TVA action, or are we actually even going to get a Loki cameo?
It would be nice. I think it would really help pull this phase, because now is this the end of phase 4, or is Wakanda Forever the end of phase 4?
Wakanda Forever is the end of phase 4.
Okay.
I think at this point, like I agree with Mr. Narwhal. Marvel needs to start pulling out the stops at this point. They need to start coming up with all kinds of like crossovers and like tie-ins of everything. And they have to keep it going. Like at this point, I don't think that's something that people will get tired of. Like, I think people want to keep seeing the tie-ins and crossovers until we see like a big crossover. So I think they can keep that momentum going for their next few phases, like little crossovers and tie-ins here and there everywhere, and then a big crossover. And I don't think that train will stop for them if they do it right.
Well, first of all, Mr. Jimmy Carter's here. Good to see you, sir. And the B5 Babe says, after Love and Thunder, this movie doesn't have to do much to impress us. Wow. Okay.
Well, we got a few in the backwards.
She's not wrong. She is not wrong.
Oh, did I miss some?
Yeah. So basically, the Queen corrected me. We were watching Pirates. We were in the Caribbean. So I apologize, Queen. Lisa came back with that's B5 Babe. Kang is the original Hydra. Cut the head off one, 3 grow back. Hell Hydra. And she said, that's the B5 Babe to you. And then Jimmy jumped in, and then yes, there we go. After Love and Thunder, the movie doesn't have to do much to impress us.
Gotcha. I just can't get over how great the CG looks in this trailer. I mean, some of the Marvel TV shows have had an uneven run, for lack of a better term, with their CG. Look at you, She-Hulk. But this looks, I'm really excited about this. I mean, and it's good to see Michael Douglas again. It's good to see Michelle Pfeiffer again. And of course, you know, you've got Angeline Lilly, and of course, as we said, all hail Paul Rudd as you know. And I love the fact they're making him the hero that gets no respect. You know, it's like, thank you, Spider-Man. You know, I love that.
Oh no, that was a great moment.
That's great.
I loved it.
So, yeah, and I'm wondering, and I'm hoping this one will be the Ant-Man that like you know, the Ant-Man films have always been, and like I said, they've always been kind of the Rodney Dangerfield of the MCU too. They never seem to quite get the love that they deserve. You know, like Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp are great freaking films, y'all. I mean, they're really good movies, especially that first Ant-Man. I didn't expect a whole lot out of it because he was just such a strange character. You know, I mean, he was such an off the wall type character. I mean, and the fact that movie was so good, especially when they lost its original director like a month before they were going to start shooting. You know, hell, now we can't even get Blade off the ground. and we had Ant-Man like, we'll just swap a director out. I mean, that's when Kevin Feige was just walking around like with the swag like nobody's business, you know, like, I'm Kevin Feige, you know. But anyway, so see, Reverend, what are your thoughts about this trailer?
So I mean, everything that we've said so far tonight, I mean, I agree with 100. I mean, Paul Rudd just doesn't seem to make a bad movie ever. I mean, even like I said, even if it's a crap movie, it's got Paul Rudd. It's like watching your best friend. Like, man, you just can't not cheer for the guy. It's like you're just like, I love you, Paul Rudd. And of course, the Queen's like, that guy never ages. He just still looks the same. Maybe he just has a better tan now than he did back then. So, but I'm looking forward to this as well. You know, from the trailer that we've been able to see there, you'll see that he also gets sucked in with his daughter. So obviously, she is going to become. I'm forgetting her hero name.
Yes.
You guys
Stature.
say it again. Stature.
Yeah.
Snatcher. Okay.
By the way, Turtle Gal and I were watching the trailer together for the first time, and she brought up a good point. When he gets sucked into the quantum realm, they're all in civvies, and at one point it shows him in his suit. I'm like, didn't Ant-Man have like a suit that he kept in like a ring or something that he would get enlarged and get in it? Or am I thinking of the Flash?
That was the Flash that had the ring and the suit and stuff. But he does always have.
Ant-Man has this literally in an Altoids tin.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you remember from the first one, he would carry it around.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He could just grow it up whenever he wants. So
that's right.
That wasn't a big deal to me, in the fact that I'm quite sure he always has that suit on.
Yeah, that's kind of how I looked at it too.
It was the second one, wasn't it? The second one was he had in the tin, or was it the first?
Second one he had it in the
That's
Altoids
right.
tin.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So,
yep.
But
I also find it interesting that Cassie Lang is wearing a super suit, and I've heard that that is a point of contention during the early parts of the film, is that she's going out and doing superheroing of her own, much to the disappointment of her father and the Wasp. So
interesting.
See.
So what's the release date on this? I don't think
it's 2023 of some kind. I want to say February, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's February or March 2023. We have to look because they shifted everything around.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. Especially when Blade
February 17th.
Dang, I'm good.
There you go. Yeah.
The day after Picard season 3 drops. So I'm either going to be very happy or like the saddest birthday I've ever had. So it's like I get Picard on my birthday and then Ant-Man the day after. So I'm either going to be ecstatic, over the moon, or I'm just going to be ready to hang myself. And then Jimmy Carter said February 2023. And B5 Babe says Paul Rudd did for Ant-Man what Momoa did for Aquaman, made it amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
Hashtag awesome. She not wrong. Yeah. So anybody got any other comments they want to share on the Ant-Man and Wasp Quadramania?
Nope. Looking forward to it.
I keep wanting to call it Quadra.
I just have to.
Oh, good. Yeah. I keep wanting to call it Quadrophenia.
The only thing that would be the cherry on top of this movie is if at some point Paul Rudd is sitting in a wheelchair that rolls down a hill, falls into a lake, and then a little alien sits up and watches him. That would be the cherry on the top.
That would. Oh man, wouldn't that be funny if they were just sitting around watching TV and they cut to the screen and that's the scene? You know the joke about this, right, guys? Geek Boy, you know the joke?
No, I guess I'm missing it. What are we talking about?
Oh, so is it? Oh, Narwhal, you brought it up. You tell. This is a great story.
This is a great story. So, Paul Rudd is longtime fans with Conan O'Brien, and of course, Conan O'Brien, has had talk shows for many, many years.
Yes,
and
one on every network, I think.
And anytime that Paul Rudd goes on to one of Conan O'Brien's talk shows to promote a movie or TV show or anything else that he's involved in, he always sort of talks about all the cool stuff that he's doing in the movie or the show, and then he says, "I brought a clip." And the clip that they play is a scene from the old 80s movie Mac and Me, where the little kid, basically the brake fails on the little kid's wheelchair. He rolls down a hill, falls into a gorge, lands in a pool of water, and then you see the alien from the movie sit up and go, "Oh!" And literally like every time he goes on one of these shows, he always plays the exact same clip. And of course, Conan O'Brien's like, you better not play that clip, because I know you always play the clip. He's like, "No, I'm not playing the clip. I'm not doing that." And then without fail, doesn't matter. Even if it's a audio only podcast, he plays the same damn clip.
It's hilarious. I mean, there's even been segments where like Conan's like, "Now look, I've talked to my producers. They're not playing that clip." He's like, "I know. I brought the real thing." He's like, "No, I'm serious." we want to see your Ant-Man clip. And he's like, no, it's an Ant-Man clip. And then it's like,
Okay, here's the thing. I am laughing entirely too hard to have not seen this shit.
oh my God. I can't believe you, the geek boy of talk shows,
I know.
have not
I know.
seen this.
I know. I haven't seen it. I know.
You see,
I
I'm
know.
not even a real big Conan O'Brien fan, but I've seen these segments and they're just, oh
Wow.
my God, it's hilarious. Because Paul Rudd's just totally stone faced, like, yeah.
It is perfect. I will post the supercut in the chat for people
Okay, thank you.
who want to check it out later on. I will post that.
Well, B5 Babe thinks
that.
that the cherry on top would be Michelle Pfeiffer flying through the quantum realm singing Cool Rider.
I think the Queen may actually enjoy that segment.
She would support that,
Yes.
as would we don't know we don't have a handle for Turtle Gal's sister, but she would support that as well.
Yeah, yep.
So, and oh, there it is.
There's the chat. Yep. And then Jimmy also came back. That sounds like a really bad Rick roll. You are correct, sir.
Absolutely.
You are correct.
Absolutely. It is classic comedy.
Oh man! All right, I got to check this out.
That is classic Paul Rudd.
I'll check it out when we get off the air. How about that?
There you go. Good call. Good call.
So, moving on to our next topic.
Yep.
You know, we've talked for several times. I mean, not consecutively, but we have made much hay about the fact that Warner Brothers and David Zaslav have been looking for their own version of Kevin Feige to run DC Films, I guess, or DC Studio, whatever it's called now. Well, they have found their Kevin Feige, or should I say their Feige's, and it is the going to be the two-man team of James Gunn and Peter Safran. They've signed this deal, which by the way was probably in the works for quite a while. They have signed on to basically for the next 10 years, I believe, craft a plan for DC Studios or DC Films or whatever Warner Brothers is calling it. And I think, you know, before we get into whether James Gunn's the right choice, I think he is. I want to talk about Peter Safran for a minute. This guy has a huge producing resume. So apparently, from the way I understand the deal is structured, they are the co-CEOs or CEOs of DC Films. James Gunn is on the creative side, and Peter Safran is on the financial side. And he has been producing films. Looks like '97 was his first film. It was a little something called Rocket Man, but he's done a lot of these. Looks like he kind of cut his teeth on the parody movies like Scary Movie, Disaster Movie, the Meet the Spartans, those kind of things. And then he kind of started branching out into things like My Life in Ruins, which was not the best of those two films. But he's also done. He did something called Vehicle 19. He did that. What's the Ryan Reynolds trapped in a box movie? Buried. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he did that.
Dude, that was a great movie.
Yeah, he's done
Has
that.
anyone seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's great.
Oh yeah,
that was phenomenal. There were actually people there was people reported on set that believed that he was freaking out on the box and literally called cut and came over and started trying to get him out. I was like, no, dude, I'm acting. This is fine. It's fine. I'm fine. So it was. It's an intense movie, especially if you're claustrophobic.
Well, it won't be airing at my house then.
So, yeah. Man, it's intense.
Glad y'all liked it. Dude, I watched The Descent there and I thought she gonna kill me. That was my last Halloween movie of the season. She's like, what the F are you? Oh no, she left. But he's also he was the producer on James Wan's Conjuring films. And he's produced all the Conjuring films, plus all the tertiary stuff like Annabelle and The Nun and things like he's got not only this, and he's produced a lot of James Gunn's early stuff. So not only does he have a relationship with James Gunn, he also has a relationship with James Wan, which means he also produced Aquaman. Okay. He produced the Shazam movie. So he's worked with David F. Sandberg. He's a producer on the Blue Beetle. He's producer on Shazam: Fury of the Gods, the Suicide Squad. I mean, he was
get to see Blue Beetle though.
You know what? Apparently we are. It's he's also
We
producer
are,
on.
actually.
They're bullish
they
on
actually
that.
had the investor call for Warner Brothers Discovery. I guess it was either today or yesterday.
It was.
And they were talking up Blue Beetle.
wow.
Zaslav was really talking it up and saying
Yep.
it's going to be a great movie, and he's looking forward to releasing it. And
Yeah, I listened to that call as well, so that no one else had to. But apparently, Mr. Narwhal didn't get the memo. But that's the thing, though. Okay, so I listened to it specifically because I thought they were going to talk about this, and they did. But there were a few things that were spoken that kind of made me scratch my head because I mean, we all know why they brought James Gunn and Peter Safran on board. DC was in free fall, right? I mean, I mean, Zaslav even said we haven't had a Superman movie in 13 years. I didn't realize it had been that long, but damn.
Damn.
Been
Wait.
13 years since Man of Steel came out, is what he said.
I thought the Man of Steel came out in 2013.
He's let's see.
Joel Allison just joined us. Hello,
Oh, hey, Joel. Well, he said 13 years in his talk. Maybe he was mistaken. But I was like, damn, like I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah, Man of Steel was 2013.
Okay, so maybe
Hold
he
up.
said it. Maybe he said it's been since 2013. Maybe that's what he said. Because I had it playing at my desk, listening to it.
Okay.
Well,
But anyway,
even
he
if that's
said-
the case. Then I mean, you still had him in Justice League and stuff, which
Right.
wasn't.
Well, he
dedicated
was
Superman, but-
he was referring to a solo Superman film. Is
Gotcha.
what he was talking about. So I mean, of course, the calls litter with all that the corporate speak, like synergy, leveraging business units, fundamental reimagine, that kind of stuff. But and he did say he'd been meeting with Gunn and Safran for months, and he said they are at work right now, working on a long-term plan to unify and exploit the DC brand, a la Marvel. Okay, so he said all that. But then he turns around and says, we just signed a big deal with Matt Reeves, who's developing a sequel to The Batman with Robert Pattinson. And he's doing the Penguin show. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. How is this unifying the DC? Oh, and of course, Todd Phillips is directing a Joker sequel, right? How is this unifying the DC universe? You know what I mean? Like, and he talked up about Black Adam and how Black Adam, is kind of the soft reboot for all this. And it's like, wait a minute. So you've announced that Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman, but you've also said you've got Joker 2 and the sequel of the Batman and the Penguin show. So I don't know.
Well, is this also the same thing that we're going to get Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Too,
Yeah, musical. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly, I think Zaslav doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I'll be frank.
Okay. All right.
And my evidence is, one, he tried to reach out to Kevin Feige to see if he would run DC. Like he was going to run that piece of shit.
Okay, I saw you posted that. I said, was that a real deal or was that a joke?
I think so. Here, this is probably a rumor or like an unconfirmed thing. But like, if it's true at all, it just tells me homie is trying to copy paste, and he couldn't get Kevin Feige, so he's like, "Well, I'll just get James Gunn. He already did one of our films."
Yeah.
And it's just like, do you even know what you're? And by just listening to what you were just saying, where they're like, "Let's greenlit this Joker movie that has nothing to do with anything. Let's greenlit this Batman movie that has nothing to do with anything either. Let's continue with the DCEU. That is a sinking ship that it doesn't have anything to do with the other two things that are Batman related. And then let's also do a Penguin show, the most boring villain of all." They could have picked like Clayface. Clayface would have been an interesting Batman villain.
Oh, yeah,
show.
Clayface.
Man-Bat.
Man-Bat would have been awesome, dude.
That'd have been expensive though.
Yeah, it would have.
Mr. Freeze, which was really my nickname for you on vacation.
I heard that. Appreciate that, by the way. My candle may be changing.
Yeah.
I tell you, a Clayface story would have been cool because could you imagine just bringing in the cameo guest stars on that Clayface could just take on the mantle of, and so easy to write it through a show, but also get some like just names coming through there that you could easily talk up. I mean, Clayface is such an untapped resource in storytelling, I think, for the DCU.
Mhm.
It's like they just don't even think of what they can do with that character. And it's like the guy literally can turn him into anybody,
Yeah.
anything at any time.
Yeah.
You can't
Okay,
think
so-
of something
so-
to do
so
with his
here-
butt. Go ahead.
So here's the thing, though. Number one, for the Matt Reeves stuff and for the Todd Phillips stuff, I think the reason that they're not tying those directly to the Gunn Saffron deal is because those deals were already in place.
That's what I was
producers.
wondering. Yeah.
So, in order to sort of bring in a new overseer, a new executive producing duo, they already have pre-existing deals in place with the producers for those films. So they're trying to repair these relationships. They're not going to kick off those existing producers to bring in somebody new who's going to have new thoughts, new designs, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing about the Matt Reeves thing, though.
Mhm.
While you guys were gone, Hollywood Reporter announced that Matt Reeves is working on not one, not two, but 3 new spin-off movies from his Batman film.
Okay.
Yeah, he is doing. Some of these are just like I don't know. They are doing a Clayface movie.
Really?
They are doing a Scarecrow movie.
Yep.
And they're doing a Professor Pig movie.
What?
Interesting. I would think I would watch that Winnie Pooh live action horror movie first to see what that does before they do it.
You know what though? I bet that Blood and Honey is going to be like real fire.
Oh,
Like,
I have
just,
a, I have
it's
a
just
feeling
stupid
that
enough
they-
to be really
It
good.
is.
No
It is.
shit,
I mean,
yeah.
People are like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," and yeah, I'm not. I agree with you 100. That thing's probably just going to light the industry on fire, and people are just going to like, "What the hell was this?
Yeah.
Where was this the whole time?"
Yeah.
I heard that
it's gonna
the people behind that are actually doing another film called Neverland Nightmare.
Oh my God. Was it about Michael Jackson?
No, it's about Peter Pan.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a Netflix documentary about anyway, never mind.
You going down
well,
the wrong hole there, bro.
I did. Oh boy, I did. There's another
I see what you did there.
Yeah. You beat me to it. So okay, so let me posit this, Mr. Narwhal.
Uh-huh.
And again, I know that all these deals they're structured very specifically, because we talked about when Warner Brothers put all their movies on HBO Max. By the way, Zaslav said they're done doing that shit. He's like, we found out that doing that did not increase subscribers. It didn't help us in retention, and we didn't make any damn money. So okay, there you go. Good for you.
Jimmy said too soon, by the way. I'm not quite
Oh
sure.
too soon. Sorry, man. But one of the things I'm wondering is, so we know that we're getting this Penguin TV series, right? Could they just be using Robert Pattinson as Batman in that series and keep the big screen Batman for maybe Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton?
Potentially.
I doubt it.
You don't think so? I don't know if
No.
Pattinson would agree to it, but
I think Ben Affleck's pretty much done. I feel like the only way that the DCEU could really continue is that they kept all the actors, but I don't know how they're gonna make it work, because I don't know what Gal Gadot's situation is, but Ben Affleck appears to be done.
yeah.
You really can't do much with Ezra Miller at this point. You're gonna have to recast him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Jason
I'm sorry.
Momoa's in, but like Ray Fisher's done too. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're not getting Cyborg back.
Zaslav could say, hey, Ray, that wasn't me. I'm the new guy. I'm the new management. We want to, I don't know now whether Ray Fisher would come back or not. I don't know, but
I don't think so.
he could do that, but I just
that's a
doubt
big
that he
check.
is.
Big check. And
Yeah.
not saying that he's not a talented person, but that would probably take too big of a check to come back. And with him as new as he is in his career and other opportunities, I don't know if that's a check that the studio that it's in its current form be willing to write.
well, and to be quite honest, if probably even to make him interested, he'd say, fine, then you have to canonize Zack Snyder's cut of the movie, because that's the one that Cyborg had kind of a story in, you know.
And you know they want to sidestep all that.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
their
there's no way
best,
that's happening.
but their best shot to keep this going is just to do Flashpoint and then just
Mm-hmm.
reset everything and then
Oh,
just
yeah.
keep
That's
whoever
sort
they
of what
want.
I think's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that in the animated series as well. Not series, the animated movies, the last Justice League War. Basically, the Justice League pretty much got their butt whooped. I mean, they found a way to win in the end, but and basically, Batman went to Flash. He's like, you know what you need to do, and he's like, what? He's like, the only way we're getting anyone back is you've got to reset the timeline and do a Flashpoint where they reset everything. I mean, like. Dude, I don't know if anyone else saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Dude, it was a great one, but I mean, like, Dick
Yeah, it
Grayson
was-
died, and then I mean, just
It was
My
a
God,
Justice League Apocalypse, I believe. is what
was it Apocalypse? Okay, so
I
not
think
War, so-
I think that's the name
yeah,
of it.
you're right. It was Justice League Apocalypse. So, but yeah, so I mean, Zatanna, I think even died. I mean, like,
Wow.
I mean, Wonder Woman got all jacked up. Man got all jacked up. Woman got jacked. I mean, like, nobody made it out unscathed. Lois Lane died. Luthor
Wow.
died. The Suicide Squad died. I mean, just like it was death and gore. So
And what was this? Apocalypse?
yeah,
Yeah,
Justice
it's
League
pretty-
Apocalypse.
It's pretty gnarly. Like
Yeah.
it's probably their best one. Like
Really? Okay.
they lost their ass and then they barely won at the very end.
Yeah.
And then I think it was
It was
I think
Trigon that it was the only reason they did win.
yeah.
Raven's
it-
dad came in and he's like, basically was like, "Who do you think you are, Apocalypse?" He's like, "I'm a new god." And he's like, "Let's get ready to rumble." And I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, it was, yeah, and I mean, even Cyborg. I mean, he was being used to power the mother boxes, and he was just literally this wall of computer that basically blew up everything. So I mean,
Dang.
yeah, nobody made it out
Yeah.
very well. So
No.
basically,
Wow.
they're like, "Guess what, Flash? you
That's
need to
one
reset
thing that's
the time."
interesting is that Gunn and Safran are not just in charge of the film side of
Yeah.
DC; they're in charge of the television and the animation side.
Yeah,
now.
I was gonna-
Oh, are they? Nice.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
They are.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
I
'cause-
mean, I like Gunn being that part of that and everything. Because I mean, I'm sorry, he floored me with what he did with Suicide Squad as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm like, I'll give him a shot no matter what. So
Well, Peacemaker was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's some of the
Peacemaker was
best.
great.
Peacemaker is freaking great. Well, and man, that might help because we've all been bitching for when did Man of Steel come out? We said 2013. Since 2013, just do that. Like point the animated movies, just do that.
Mhm.
Or well, maybe since with Justice League came out, we're like, why didn't you just do that?
Mhm.
But yeah, they're in charge of all that stuff. So
And now they can do that potentially.
I know because they basically Zaslav burned it to the ground. I guess he's trying to build it back up. Like Goldar said, whether he knows what he's doing or not, I guess we'll find out. I mean, I guess the big tell is going to be how Black Adam ultimately performs at the box office.
Now I believe the only one here that's seen it is Mr. Narwhal because I know 3 of the
have
4
seen
people of this panel
correct.
were out of town last week. So
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all slackers going off and doing vacation stuff, and I have to sit through Black Adam. I mean,
So here's the thing. I want to ask you, did you like it, Mr. Narwhal? Did you have a good time with it?
it was okay. It was pretty much popcorn fare. The
That's fine.
biggest, I guess, the biggest ding about it is
Mhm.
that it literally has like 0 character development. It is just pretty much one action fight set piece after another, just boom, 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 right in a row.
Could you smell what The Rock had cooking?
The Rock, his performance in this was fairly subdued for him. It's not the wisecracking, Rock. It's more of the grr, I'm scary and mean kind of Rock.
Mhm. Okay.
But they also had sort of the Justice Society, which Aldous Hodges Hawkman I thought was really good.
Okay.
And I also liked Dr. Fate. I thought that was a really good character as well.
How was Pierce? Yeah.
I'm excited to see Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. When he took the helmet off and the thing, I was like, oh my God, he looks amazing. So
Well, and I was worried that it was basically going to, feel like a Doctor Strange knockoff with Doctor Fate, and thankfully it is not. They make the character very distinct in his in some of his abilities. Some of his stuff is very Doctor Strange-esque because they're both masters of magic, but Dr. Fate has, a slightly different twist to him that really sets him apart from the character of Doctor Strange.
Okay. Well, and by the way,
does the Dr. Fate have the whole like persona Nabu and all that stuff, or is he just don the helmet of wisdom and becomes Dr. Fate? So a lot of the storytelling, especially if you're watching Young Justice, Dr. Fate is the helmet is basically sentient, and whoever dons it basically is under that control. And so, is that play anything into this, or is that too spoilery?
It really does not.
Okay,
it really does not, and they don't really go very deep at all into like the backgrounds of these characters. Again, there's like zero character development for anybody. It's, hey, there's Dr. Fate. Hey, there's this character. Hey, there's that character. And it is literally just them fighting for 2 hours. I mean,
okay. Well,
I can watch that. I think I can watch that.
I mean, anything's got to be better than Well, I won't say it's DC's
it was better than Love and Thunder.
Was it better than Wonder Woman 84?
Oh God, yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
then I'm all in. I'm in. I thought Wonder Woman 84 was a huge misfire. So, all right.
Yep.
But I think a lot of what Zaslav's plan is hinging on is Black Adam's box office, right? So it's my understanding this was the biggest opening of The Rock's career. But whether this thing, I saw the budget somewhere anywhere between 185 and 200. This thing's got a leg out pretty good. I mean, I think it's made 250. Hold on. By the way, Austin Thomas is here. The Viking Slayer's in the house. And Jimmy said Ray Fisher means show me the money.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Black Adam's made 256 worldwide today.
Worldwide. Okay. All right. So
and what did it take it to develop it? What's its
according to Wikipedia, the budget was 195 to 200. So,
it's not very far. Yeah, I mean, you can fit in all the advertisement and stuff they had to do, the shilling, and so it's starting to earn some money. It sounds like.
Well, keep in mind that 256 that it's earned, they got to split some of that with the theaters.
Oh yeah.
And now, granted, I heard they were able to keep the marketing. I think the investor call said they were able to keep the marketing under a dull roar, just because, let's face it, your movie is a social media mastermind. I mean, so he's pretty much a great self promoter. So
I mean, just putting the name The Rock in it, his whole fan base right now is already bought into that social media promotion.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, this other story surfaced, and I don't know how much we want to talk. I mean, all these stories are kind of interconnected, like Henry Cavill's left The Witcher, and now they've, and obviously he left The Witcher because he's going to play Superman again. And I think that's a better deal. But it's my understanding he left The Witcher because he was unhappy with the direction that show's going, so, but the other thing is like, so there's that story, there's that side of this story to talk about. But the other thing is I've read some story somewhere that The Rock has like a quiet disdain for the Shazam films, that he's not really happy with how they basically turned Shazam into a comedy.
Well, and I think part of that comes from the fact that, basically Black Adam is probably best known as Shazam's nemesis. And, considering how much of a fanboy that The Rock is of Black Adam,
right?
He didn't want Black Adam to basically be sort of written off as just the bad guy for Shazam 2 or even Shazam 1 for that matter.
Right.
So I can see a little bit of that disdain perhaps in that kind of view. My question is, considering that one of the producers for Shazam is obviously his new boss with in
Peter
Saffron.
Saffron. Yeah.
What's that relationship going to look like going forward?
Yeah. I can't imagine that James Gunn ends that. I'm hoping that they've set all these people around the table and figured all this out. Or Goldar thinks I'm being naive. Probably.
I would go ahead, Goldar.
I was gonna say I don't have a ton of hope. Like I don't know how they're gonna make this work.
That's too deep thinking. That's too deep thinking.
Like without resetting the whole thing, I don't know how they're gonna make all of this like work together.
You guys mark my words, and we'll see. I'm willing to bet $1 on this. So that means I'll owe you guys $3 if I'm wrong. The movie that will be coming out here next year will be called Batman Flashpoint. You guys just mark my words. They're going to whittle his part down to a glorified cameo, and it's going to be Batman Flashpoint.
No, you're going to owe $3.
You think I'm going to owe $3? You think?
Oh yeah.
Well, stranger things have happened.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I agree with Goldar in the sense that, I don't think they ever talked that deep of consideration into like, what do you guys think The Rock thinks about this? They're like, no. We've got to think of what's our next best 5, 10 year, 15, 20 year plan. And actors, though, as big as they are, and especially as hot as they are at the moment, I mean, we've all seen it to almost every actor. All it needs is one good slap across the face, pun intended, to kind of off rail a career for a little while.
That's too soon, bro.
No, it's not. I mean, come on. If you saw
right.
it, I mean, to be honest, I mean, yes, everyone's gotten to that point, and sometimes you got to keep your cool. If you don't, then basically you got to suffer the ramifications.
Yeah.
And so he's had to take a step back from his career to let that kind of simmer down.
Yeah.
We've seen the same thing from other actors that have chosen to act in a certain way. I mean, Ezra Miller, I'd be surprised if you see anything from him for quite some time, if anything ever again.
Oh, he's done as the Flash. He is 100% done as the Flash. I guarantee you that.
I'll tell you right. Well, I'll tell you, I'll be surprised if he's done as a leading actor of anything for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
yeah. Well, but on the flip side of that though, they just cast Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yet he's also Black Manta. It's like,
well, what's even funnier about that is that there's been a lot of sound bites where basically he was downing superhero movies.
Yeah.
And how they're I don't want to
basically cashing a paycheck, just cashing a paycheck.
Yeah, cashing a paycheck. But apparently, he found a script that he wanted to do, and I've always liked the Wonder Man character, especially when he was in the West Coast Avengers. So I'm just kind of curious where that's going to go and how that's going to be told. So should be interesting. But I found it funny that a guy that was just like, well, I'm just here to cash a paycheck on his Aquaman role for taking on Black Manta. It's one of the true, like, almost on-screen representations of right out of the comic books.
Oh my God, that was I loved everything about the Black Manta portrayal in the film. I loved it. It was so
really
great.
Yeah, he's really good. He was really good in like a bunch of stuff. Like I watched him in the new Candyman. He was really good in that.
Oh, is he in that?
Yeah, he's in that.
Okay.
He's in that. And there was I think there's a movie called Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, I want to see that.
He's good in that too, because I think that's a Michael Bay film.
Oh, all hail Michael Bay. Yes, it's a Michael Bay film. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm surprised Geek Boy hasn't seen that yet, because I mean, anything Michael Bay puts out, Geek Boy's gonna lap up.
Well, I do, but I like to know what kind of Michael Bay I'm getting. If I'm getting 13 Hours Michael Bay, I love it. If I'm getting Transformers 3 Michael Bay, I don't know. I kind of scratch my head a little bit. So I just kind of like, but apparently I'm getting 13 Hours Michael Bay from people I've talked to. So. Or it's Michael Bay going, look, I bought a drone. From some of the shots I've seen. But yeah, there's just this whole Warner Brothers DC thing has got so many moving parts. Like there was a moment in the investors call. Now, Narwhal, did you actually listen to it, or are you just reading the highlights?
I've just read the highlights.
Oh, dude, I was listening to it. And so, like I said, but keep in mind, as I said, like we said with the 2013 thing, I was at my desk doing my real job while I was listening to it. But I could have swore, that Zaslav started saying, we haven't developed our franchises enough. He said, we have a lot of franchises that provided us a lot of revenue back in the day that we haven't exploited. And that's when he started talking about, we need to get a Superman movie. We need to do this. He goes, we need to do it. He said, we haven't done a Harry Potter movie in forever. And I thought, did you just diss the Fantastic Beasts movies? Or do you not know what you said?
I've heard that he wants to make a movie version of Cursed Child and sort of spin that off into a new series.
So seeing Goldar or Narwhal, you've seen the Cursed Child, right? Or have you not?
I have not seen the Cursed Child. No.
I'll tell you right now, as someone that's seen that, I would love to just keep it as a Broadway show like it is. Because the things they do in it on the show, in live production like that, so amazing. I think it would steal some of its thunder to see it on a big screen, and I think it would take away from the magic of that show.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see something, something new started, but and what I got to experience, I don't want to see it on the big screen. I love the experience I had with it, and to bring it on the big screen, I think would diminish that.
Goldar, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, yeah, like, did you not watch Fantastic Beasts? Like, they've had 3 of those in the last few years. Just because it didn't have Harry Potter in it doesn't mean it's not a Harry Potter film.
Exactly.
Well, he said, we said we'd love to work directly with J.K. I thought, well, now wait a minute. She wrote the scripts for all 3 of these movies. Oh well,
it's good.
That's why I'm just like, does Zaslav, is he like Weekend at Bernie's, like through this whole thing? He's just sleepwalking through the entire process, like, because I feel so. Hearing them say this, like, I'm almost wondering, like, he's just gonna dump a bunch of like sequels and reboots on us.
Oh man, I hope not.
Of course.
I don't know, guys. Right now, I'm bullish on this right now. Again, I may own everybody $3. I'm bullish on DC and Warner Brothers right now. I really am. I don't know why, but I am. I mean, speaking of the man who's hoping that Warner Brothers gets its Babylon 5 reboot off the ground.
Yeah.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah. So to answer Goldar's question, yes, we're going to get a bunch of sequels and reboots dropped on it. So, but and so has anybody else got anything to add about this sort of? It's not a dumpster fire. It's not a train wreck. It's more like a headline from the National Enquirer, type thing. Like, why you believe that? Anybody got anything else to add before we move on to the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is a sequel?
Yes.
It's the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. And I saw the trailer for this and thought, this is batshit insane. I mean,
that's what I've grown to love about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Speaking of James Gunn. Yeah. So,
yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like Zaslav, he had to carve out time. He knew that Gunn had to carve out time to finish to both. I mean, how awkward is this that the new DC boss is going to be doing press for Guardians 3 here in about 6 months? That's got to be weird.
Actually, that's probably a win for DC because James Gunn, his profile just keeps going up and up and up, and then guess what? Boom! He is doing nothing but DC for the next 4 years. He is going to be killing it.
Yeah. So again, this trailer dropped.
If you recall, a few months ago, I shared pictures from the set of this where Mantis and Drax were running around in Hollywood. So we were ahead of the rest of the whole damn world in breaking news for this film.
Right.
So
this is where you catch it, people. Breaking news.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Well, and when I saw that, I thought
that has a major award, people.
Yeah,
people
it's a major award.
So,
I have one over there, but it's a leg lamp.
that's right. His is a
so-
real award. Like
A
he's
real
done
award.
real work. He's
Yeah,
done real
he's
work.
done real work. Yeah. Well, you know,
That
and
needs
when
to
you-
be displayed prominently behind you, by the way. I mean,
that's right. And when you drop those pictures out, I thought, okay, are they going to rotoscope a bunch of this out? Are they standing away from the green screen? No, they're freaking in L.A. I mean,
Yeah.
that's they're in L.A. having to do with the story. Which you know, again, if you've watched the trailer, I guess the idea is they're going to give Kevin Bacon to Star-Lord for Christmas. Now,
are you serious? No, I had not heard what
you've not, yeah, they're basically Star-Lord is upset that it's Christmas on Earth and he's not on Earth, so Drax and Mantis decide to go to Earth to bring him Kevin Bacon. So
Greatest hero in Earth history.
Yeah.
and Kevin Bacon is basically running for his life from Drax and Mantis. And again, why they didn't bring Star-Lord to Earth, I don't really know, but
because it wouldn't be as funny.
I know. Oh, I know. That's exactly why. Wonder Midget's in the house. What up, Wonder Midget?
Wonder Midget.
So yeah, so Kevin Bacon is literally coming into the MCU as himself.
All right. Well, the greatest hero in the world.
Well, yes, but now it's
What
like
else are you gonna be?
this changes the whole dynamic of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You've just linked Kevin Bacon to every single person in the MCU from Endgame back.
Yep.
I mean, my God. We have just, you can't even play that game anymore. It's like,
Nope.
you know, like
I don't think anyone plays that game anymore, but that's all right.
Mickey Rourke. He was in Iron Man 2. Robert Downey Jr. was in Endgame with Chris Pratt, who was in Guardians Christmas Special with Kevin Bacon. I mean, it's can't do it anymore.
Yep. You can't do it.
One of the things I find interesting about this special too is that you know, Groot, the character, you know, has changed a lot over these films. You know, obviously in the first film he was, you know, giant regular size Groot. In the second film he was, you know, little baby Groot.
Right.
In the Avengers movies that he was in, he was like teenage Groot. And it looks like in this film, you know, he is sort of halfway in between that that teenage Groot and the full size Groot. So you know, we're definitely seeing a progression there in that character, and it's going to be interesting, I think, to see where that character and where you know Vin Diesel takes that character next. You know, considering how difficult of a character that is to portray for Vin Diesel. The lines that he has to learn, the soliloquies, oh my God, the soliloquies that he gives.
I mean, dude, have you seen, I mean, I've seen some scripts where basically the lines are just nothing but, you know, paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs for him to learn. So, I mean, it's got to be brutal.
I know. I don't know how he does it.
I don't. So I did notice something. So, I mean, do we know this is going to be in theaters only, or is this going to be theaters and Disney Plus? I mean, how is it initially going to be released? Have we heard anything?
Oh no, this is Disney Plus 100%.
Okay,
This
so
is Disney Plus. It's an hour-long special.
It's like it's like a Werewolf by Night, basically.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I think is great because I wasn't expecting this. Like the Werewolf by Night special, like I kind of expected it to be that kind of special, but this like, you know, Guardians Christmas thing, like I thought it was just going to be like a 10-15 minute like little deal. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cute. Like the Groot videos that they
Right.
released.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like that. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. This is a full on deal. So like I'm
It's a full-on
kind of
episode. I'm happy with it.
Well, and Goldar, I think you were going to say something else about the trailer, weren't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I was just looking forward to it. Like it looks interesting. Like it looks like it'll be like a fun palate cleanser. Like I know, like y'all know, like I'll be real about like Marvel stuff, despite being like a huge fanboy. Like if something sucks, like it just sucks, right? But like this looks like it'll be like really kind of fun.
Yeah.
Not too serious, like just the right amount of comedy, and these characters are funny, so that fits with them. So I'm, you know, we haven't seen them in like a few years now because Endgame came out in what 2019.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen them in like 2-3 years now. Like,
I mean, we saw him a
full-on.
little. Yeah, so I say, yeah, we saw him a little bit in Love and Thunder and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't a true, representation of who they are. So
Yeah.
it should be. I mean, I think what's going to be fun to see about it is like, and I'm thinking they'll dive into is that Star Lord is reflecting upon, losing Gamora and all that stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, literally losing some of his family. And how he's dealing with that again. And so, the family tries to, what can we do to cheer up dad, if you will. And so this is what they decide to do. So I don't know. It sounds like like I said, it'd be a good palate cleanser for maybe some of the Marvel missteps in the past year or a couple years, and, get you set up for into phase 4, going into phase 5.
Well, if they want to cleanse my palate, that means Wakanda Forever better be great. This better be great, and Ant-Man better be great. Sorry, Goldar, you were gonna say something.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what would have been really perfect is if they just kept the Guardians in Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, it would have been good to see Thor having some banter with Star-Lord back and forth, like that he did it during the movie. Like, again, but like in a more comedic fashion. And then at the end of the movie, they could bond over losing the women that they loved.
Yeah.
And then they could truly be like, meet each other on the same level and not like joke around or be weird to each other. Like, they could truly be like, man, I'm so sorry that you lost her. I lost somebody special too.
So many missed opportunities in that film.
Yeah, just so many missed opportunities there. So like,
well, I would even say when I saw Thor going off with Guardians, I was like, man, that's the next movie, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy with Thor or if it's going to be Thor with I was wanting a true on full movie with Thor, as Guardians of the Galaxy, if you will.
That's what we thought we were getting.
I was like, this is going to be phenomenal, and that's really all I got. I was like, I think we've said it, and we'll just make it basically 3 times here. Is like so many missed opportunities in that movie.
Wow. Well, what I think is not a missed opportunity is I'm excited by the fact that like this is just a special, because for my money, Werewolf by Night was better than almost all the TV shows they've done. And now I don't think that for some reason they didn't do a very good job of marketing it for what it was, because I've had people like, man, what's the next episode of the Werewolf by Night drop? And I'm like, there isn't one. I mean, people are just, there's people that are like devastated that they're not getting another episode. Where, like, that means the shit was good, y'all. I mean, and if they can do that with this, I think, I mean, I know it's not going to keep your streaming numbers boosted up, but I mean, for God's sakes, man, I'd rather you give me 2 1-hour specials that were freaking awesome than a show that should have been an hour and a half stretched into like 9 episodes. So, and that seems to, and the Marvel shows for me seem to start off really good, and they just can't seem to stick the landing. I mean, that's me speaking in very broad terms. They're not all that way, but they've been a very mixed bag for sure.
Yeah, I agree. They've been very much mixed bag, and I'm wondering if going forward they're going to change direction and make more specials rather than TV series, and then stick to the movie format. Because I feel like they're not making, like, streaming is just not making the money that everybody wants it to make.
Right.
Because it depends on subscribers. It doesn't depend on like individual tickets. So
right.
It's, it's a once a month thing. It's not like like at that moment that they're charging you for it, because that model doesn't work. Like, nobody paid $30 to watch Black Widow. And then if anybody did when it was on Disney Plus, they regretted it.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to pay $30 to watch a movie at home. They're just going to wait till it's free, or they're just going to go on the internet and download it.
Right. Or if you're going to pay $30, you're going to have 10 people over.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to throw in $3,
Be like the old pay-per-view. It's like, hey, I'm gonna buy freaking Disney Plus for the month to watch Black Widow.
Hey,
who all wants to chip in?
Let me tell y'all something.
Chips and salsa.
Me and Heath, we bought one of those old scramblers to watch Mike Tyson fight. I can't remember who he was fighting, but I mean, we paid like $40 or $50 for that damn thing, and Tyson came out and knocked that dude out in like 45 seconds. And we were like, all right, Grandma, you and Uncle Joe get out here before and fight. I mean, we're going to do something.
Man, don't even get me started on boxing matches. Those things are fucking scam. Like 100% a scam.
100. I want to say he was fighting Spinks, wasn't he?
I think it did not last long.
It was 90 seconds in the first round. He knocked him out. I remember because my stepdad Denny rented one of those, paid for the pay-per-view, and he's like, he was all ready for it, and I was like, went to the bathroom, came back, and it was over, and I was like, after the fight, he's like, shut the hell up and sit down.
I mean, it took them longer to introduce the two people than it did for the fight to go on.
I know. Yeah, I mean, literally, it took the longer to introduce, shake gloves, come out fighting, ding, out over. All right, everybody, thanks for your $90.
Yeah, it was crazy how much that shit
God
used to
forbid
cost.
you're in the bathroom when it happens.
Yeah, like Buddy was. Courtney's back on, looks like. But yeah, man, I'm really hoping that this, well, and to Goldar's point too, you know, none of these companies can understand why their streaming services aren't making money. Well, I'll tell you why, because you used to make all these movies and TV shows that you would then turn around and license to Netflix, and they would pay you a licensing fee for stuff you've already made. So you're just sitting there getting a check every month and not having to produce anything. Guess what? Your streaming service, you now have you've lost your revenue stream. I mean,
Well, that's why all the different streaming services are now going to ad-supported versions.
Yeah.
Even the new version from Warner Brothers Discovery, they announced that they're going to be doing an ad-supported version.
Yeah.
And, you know, Netflix is rolling that out right now.
Yep.
That's the way it's going. You're going to be paying for the service. You're going to be watching ads, and at some point, you know, they're going to make you actually pedal a bike to watch the thing, to get your free energy.
Well, here's the thing. There's a word for this. It's called freaking television. I mean, my God, we've gone all the way back to the beginning.
Yep.
It's insane.
Well, we haven't got it all the way back to the beginning.
Bundle, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, they're gonna start bundling the stuff. Oh yeah.
Well, they already do that
together.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's the Callaghan Bob Hope Hour up here on Netflix. You know. Everybody give it up for the Kotex Tide presentation of Star Trek Discovery tonight.
That's right. They'll be stopping during the episode to say, hey, you know, I could really use a Winston. You know, these things are so great.
My doctor recommends this cigarette.
4 out of 5 doctors?
4 out of 5. What now? Are we talking like 4 out of 5 doctors? And you see Tom Baker and Jodie Whittaker and all these 4 out of 5 doctors recommend this. God, we were so off track. This episode
is sponsored by Play-Doh. Play-Doh, the official modeling clay of Fanboys
918.
Dude, is that on the swag page? Because we need to sponsor that.
Yeah, be careful. They might want to check. So yeah, we wandered down a rabbit hole on that one. So when's this drop anyway? November sometime?
November 26th, 28th, something like that.
Okay. All right.
So basically Thanksgiving weekend.
More or less, yeah.
You know what? That's when you're supposed to drop Christmas stuff, Hallmark Channel, not before Halloween's even done.
So it was a little ragey.
Official release date.
All right. So the Wednesday I think that's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not the only new trailer that we got. Well, we've gotten a bunch of new trailers we talked about. We got Ant-Man, we got the Guardians Christmas special, but we also got, you know, the one that everybody's so bullish on. We got I'm assuming it may not be the final I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more, but right now let's call it trailer 2 for Avatar: The Way of the Water. And you know, if you've been watching our Facebook page, there's been a very heated discussion going back and forth between Ronald Brown and Sprout about the value of the avatars and value and viability of avatars as a movie franchise. And you know, I'm kind of in the middle about it. I've been kind of all over the place. You know, first of all, let's talk about this trailer. Trailers are supposed to increase my excitement for a film. I mean, whether my excitement's at a level 2, it's supposed to. But my excitement's at a 2, it's supposed to bump it up to a 5. If my excitement's at an 8, it's supposed to bump it up to 11. You know, and this really didn't do that. You know, I mean, and as I've said before, I wasn't really that excited to begin with about this thing, and I'm not rooting against it either. I mean, I don't want this movie to fail. I just don't see any driving desire for an Avatar 2.
I would almost say that it's missed its opportunity, much like Black Widow. It's like they've waited so long to give us a sequel to Avatar. It's like, really, who has the desire or taste to go back and see it? I mean,
But that being said, there's this movie called Top Gun Maverick
true.
that was 30 years late to the party.
Well, I
And-
wouldn't say it was late because no one expected a sequel to it. When as soon as Avatar was done, we're like, when are we getting the sequel? And they're like, hey, we're getting the sequel. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do a sequel. And like, when are you going to do the sequel? Well,
Technology's not right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, and it's just like, it got to the point, it's like, it's the old con. It's like, yeah, it's coming. And like, for too long, it's like, I'm not going to believe it and stuff. So Maverick was just well timed. It was a great story. No one was expecting it, so it rekindled quickly. But when you promised us something for years and years
Yeah.
and years and years, and when you finally get around to like, here you go, and try to serve it to us, and it's like, you know, I'm a fool. I don't really have an appetite. I'm gonna go watch Maverick again. That was a
Well,
great movie.
yeah. Well, and here's the other thing about this trailer, okay? And again, I don't like it when trailers spoil stuff. Okay. I mean, we all of us have been there. Like, why'd you put that in the trailer? You know? And we've all complained about how, you know, I think every one of us at one point has opined something to the effect that they should not show anything from a film's third act in its trailer. You know, I mean, because the whole time you were watching the movie, you're like, well, that part hadn't happened yet, you know? So,
Yeah.
But here's my thing. That being said, what's this movie about? I mean, I have no desire that, you know, to me, that's kind of a lot of movies fail because they're marketed to the point that people can't understand I mean, we all know what Avatar is, but so what? So we're going back to Pandora. Is that it? Like, I can go to Disney World and do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't understand what the movie's even supposed to be about. And
Well, that's the thing about marketing these days. Literally, they either give you absolutely nothing. They just say, "Hey, guess what? We got a new Avatar movie. Come see it if you want. If you don't, fuck you."
Yeah.
Or they go the opposite way and they say, "Okay, here's everything that's going to happen in the movie. Here's all the jokes. Here's all the plot points. Here's everything. By the way, we'll even show you the cameo at the end. Come and see our movie." And there's no
looking at you, Morbius.
I'm like, no thanks. I just saw it right there. So
yeah, but you know, and to me, you couple that with the fact that, and I've said this, and I know I'm not a lot. And keep in mind, like I said, I am not one of these, you know, Avatar haters, or you know, there's a whole cottage industry on the internet that has sprung up about people hating on Avatar, but I've always felt that Avatar as a film, it's the highest grossing movie of all time. Okay. We know that. But for whatever reason, it has left no long-term residual pop culture impact, right? Like there's no action figures. There's no, you know, there's not an Avatar extended universe. I mean, there's no, I guess my thing is there was no demand for this movie. That being said, they re-released Avatar in IMAX. It made like like 10 or 12 million dollars. I'm like, oh, you people got this shit sitting on your shelf at home, you know, like dang. But they went to see it anyway. So maybe I'm just plain dumb about the whole thing. I mean, Goldar, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I hope this movie fails, like big time.
Oh,
like,
damn.
Like, I feel like James Cameron needs to take an L, like at least one, because he hasn't taken one before, right? He'll survive. Maybe he makes one movie that just doesn't do well.
Yeah.
But I feel like his reasoning for not making the sequel because the technology wasn't right is horseshit, because the one that they made 10 years ago was pretty far ahead of everything else at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this looking at this trailer, it doesn't look that much better.
Right.
Than the previous
Exactly.
one to me.
Exactly.
And maybe it's because my shit's old. You know, I'm not like, you know, the Zennials or like whoever, you know, the next generation below millennials are that can tell the difference. Like my eyes are getting old, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell the difference. Like, I'm just like, yeah, this looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks better than a lot of like the stuff we're getting now. But here's the thing. Here's the spice. American audiences have become more sophisticated.
Yes.
As far as their fandom goes. Like, we won't just tolerate any old bullshit anymore. Like, like before in the mid 2000s or early 2000s, we would take whatever we get because they wouldn't make movies that we wanted to see. Like Spider-Man, X-Men, we ate that shit up, even if it was terrible.
Yeah.
Why? Because we didn't have anything else.
Right.
But now
Lisa,
we have
some more.
exactly. Now we have the MCU, we have the DC, whatever it's doing, right? They've got hit or misses,
Yeah.
you know, but we got both of those things.
Hell, we had the freaking Arrowverse, man.
Yeah, they've got things that they're kind of making for us, right? So Avatar is a fairly new franchise. It came and then it went, and then now it's back again, and it's kind of like, why should we care at this point?
Right.
Like, you told us it took 10 years to make this movie because the technology needed to be right. Okay, that means the visual effects are on point, but is the fucking story on point? That's what we care about at this point. And we don't know what the story is. All we know is it looks like it's the same shit over again. They're fighting humans again.
Right.
Dances with Wolves Part 2 is what it looks like. It's like, how many times are we going to make the same movie? Like, I watched Fern Gully. I know how it ends. I don't need to see a sequel to that. Right?
Oh, damn. I knew somebody was going to do it. He did a Dances with Wolves and a Fern Gully in the same rant. That's awesome.
So that's where I'm just like, I hope this movie fails, so that James Cameron understands that he doesn't need to wait 10 years to make the next movie. Just put out something with a great story and people will watch it.
Well, I agree. Everything Goldar said, ditto for me. Except I don't necessarily hope that it fails. I'm not quite there, but at the other side of the spectrum, I've learned something else, y'all. Never bet against Jimmy C. Never bet against James Cameron.
That's true.
Right.
He has not taken an
his
L
deal
yet.
with the devil is ironclad. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, between Titanic and the first Avatar, I thought, now Titanic, I thought he has killed his career. He has killed his career. Highest grossing movie of all time until the next highest grossing movie of all time, which was his. Damn.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that a lot of people forget is that, he had the highest grossing film of all time with Avatar, but the tickets for Avatar were also much more expensive than your average movie ticket because it was in 3D, and they were adding surcharges onto those tickets of like 30 to 50% of that ticket price. That's a huge part of why that film succeeded as well as it did.
That's right, because he would not allow it to be shown in 2D, I don't think, in the theater.
That is correct. The only way that you could see that was in 3D. And plus, back when that movie first came out, 3D was like the hot new thing.
Yes.
And that was the first movie that people saw that's like, oh my God, that was 3D. That was incredible. Because all the other 3D stuff that they did back then just was not really that good.
Right.
It was, basically like, this kind of 3D, right? Where you would put on these glasses, and you would see that. This is basically I actually have these 3D glasses just sitting on my desk. I am that big of a fucking nerd.
It was like one of the first movies I think that was shot with a real 3D camera. Like everything else was shot 2D and then made 3D in post, and it looked like garbage.
Yes, I was gonna say there were shitty up conversions. That's what killed 3D, I think.
And then his 3D was like real 3D, so it was like it made the difference. So that's why people bought the tickets and went to see the movie, because it was good 3D. But it's funny, we haven't had really good 3D since then, though.
No.
So
I want to say I think even though the movie, and this goes back to Goldar's other thing that he just said, the movie was crap, but I remember Prometheus's 3D looked really good. I saw, but again, the movie was shit. I mean, so
yeah,
I'll say the last movie I saw.
Are they showing this in 3D?
Do what?
Are they showing Avatar 2 in 3D only?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I can't imagine he would take a step backwards.
I can't imagine not. Like, he probably wants to make the big bucks on this one.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Reverend.
Oh, I was just going to say, the last time I saw a movie in 3D was Underworld Awakening, and that was just garbage like nobody's business. And we didn't even realize we were buying it in 3D. They juked us hard. We're like, oh, there it is. We'll go watch that. And got there. And we're like, why is it so much? And they were like, oh, you bought the 3D. And I'm like, oh, when's the next showing of not 3D? 4 hours from now? Like, oh shit, let's just go see it.
Okay, here's an article I just found at says, will Avatar 2 be in 3D the way of the water's technology explored? A whole generation has passed. Okay.
I just opened up that same article.
Oh, okay. Cameron's production company, Lightstorm Entertainment, in partnership with Christie Digital, has been working on new 3D technology that will remove the need for wearing glasses to see the effects.
Interesting.
Because here's what I was going to say.
Case.
Yeah, this is okay. So here's the thing: I discovered during Avatar that 2 hours is about my limit in those damn glasses, right? Because the way it tricks your brain, everything. After about 2 hours, I started getting a headache, and I knew that. I mean, I knew that's what it was. I mean, it's the only. I mean, and I think Turtle Gals was even less. So, like, if they can figure out how to make this do, wow.
Yeah, but then here's the thing too. In order to actually get that, all the theaters who show it have to install brand new projection systems, which we know that either they are not going to pony up for that for just one movie, or the studio is going to have to kick back some movie to the theaters that do that. And then, of course, they'll charge more money, and then the things just go higher and higher.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy C does it again.
It's a different economy now.
That's right. You are exactly right. I can go see Avatar, or I can put some gas in the car. Bless you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think we'll know. Well, although here's the thing, though, this thing's gonna make money. I mean, is it gonna make Avatar money? I don't know, but all the other studios are helping it because they're getting out of its way. Like, Aquaman 2 was supposed to open in December, and they yanked it from the slate because they didn't want it to compete with Avatar. Shazam 2 was supposed to open in December, and they yanked it as well. I mean, now granted, Shazam's not $1 billion franchise. Okay. I think it's going to do well. Aquaman is a $1 billion franchise. They were wise to move that. I mean, first Aquaman made $1 billion, if you think this one's going to do the same, you need to move it, right? But Shazam, I mean, if you got a good movie and you don't want to get trounced, okay, that's fair. But I feel like they're kind of like it's kind of like rolling over and playing dead before Mike Tyson even steps in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, at least take one punch from the guy.
Yeah. Well, then one of the things too is just the fact that it's 13 years. So I want to say it's like 13 years between the first one and this one, and there's not a lot of big success stories of films that have had that long of a stretch between the original film and the sequel. So let's think here. There's Sin City came out, and then Sin City 2, Dame to Kill For, came out 9 years after that. We saw how well that performed.
Yeah.
Let's say the Godfather Part 3 was 16 years. That one didn't do too well.
It underperformed for sure. Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber 2 was nearly 20 years between those. That didn't do very well. But then, for every film like that you have a few films that have had long spans between them that have done pretty well. For example, Toy Story 3 was 10 years between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. Big success. Another one that I always like to point out, Tron Legacy, was 28 years between the first and second.
How did that do? How did that do?
It wasn't a groundbreaking success, but it was a good film, I have to
say.
Oh,
it was an excellent film. And matter of fact, it gets better every time I watch it.
Oh, yeah. But the one that I always think of with this kind of stuff, Mad Max Fury Road, was 29 years between the last film and the most recent one. And again, that, wasn't a massive success, but it was a massive cultural touchstone for a lot of us. So, even if it's not necessarily, and by the way, there was The Force Awakens, but who cares about Star Wars?
Well, you
Force
even said Star Trek Maverick, or not Star Trek, Top Gun Maverick was 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we see how well that one's been done.
It can be done. I mean, but I guess that's the question: is what kind of legs is this thing going to have? I don't know that it will. Well, and plus, you'll still, assuming it's good, Wakanda Forever will still be in theaters when this thing opens. So that's the other thing, there was no MCU at the time Avatar dropped either.
I'll tell you now, if I was Jimmy C and throwing that out there at the same time Wakanda's in theaters, that's what would have me more worried than anything.
Yeah, if Wakanda's good, if it, I mean, and it's sad we have to say that now about the MCU, because used to be, oh man, that's gonna kill it, I mean, because I think I said on this broadcast, if Doctor Strange is going to open big, but if it's a good movie, it's going to make Spider-Man No Way Home money, and it wasn't as good a movie, and it didn't make that much. Or I mean, it made a lot of money, but it didn't make as much as Spider. It didn't cross the $1 billion mark. So, but I trust Ryan Coogler, and I trust the people that are behind Wakanda Forever, and so I'm just, I mean. Again, I know I'm not supposed to bet against Jimmy C, but that's going to be a tough one to overcome if it's the same sort of cultural milestone that the first one was, or the cultural event that it was. That's going. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, plus Avatars again, it's like over 3 hours long. Again,
will you be there opening weekend?
I don't know. If you had asked me,
I won't.
If you had asked me 2 months ago, I said absolutely not. But I wasn't that excited to see Black Adam, and the more trailers dropped, the more I saw. I'm like, hey, this would be pretty good, yeah. And if we hadn't been on vacation, we probably would have seen it opening day, or opening weekend.
We would have gone to opening weekend for sure. So I'm already trying to talk the Queen into going and seeing it this weekend and everything.
Yeah,
so.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if I saw Avatar the original on opening weekend. I don't remember if I did or not. I mean, I saw it. And once was enough, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. I saw it opening weekend, but I probably will not bother to see this one opening weekend. In fact, quite honestly, I think I'll be hard pressed to actually catch this one in theaters. I just really don't have any drive to see it. I'm not sitting there wondering what's been going on in the world of Avatar for the past 13 years. I really care.
They've been trying to build technology to make the second movie.
They've been doing Dances with Wolves, Electric Boogaloo.
Woo! This could be Jimmy C's Electric Boogaloo. I hope not.
I mean, that script has got to be fire. If it's like for making us wait this long, the script has to be on point, and I don't think that it is. Like for the anticipation that it's built up, probably not.
Yeah.
Like as much anticipation they built up for Halloween Ends.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
As much.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis owes me an apology. I mean, you need to come to my house, do the True Lies dance, like right now. Like you built this thing.
You never went and saw that in theaters, though, did you?
What, Halloween Ends?
Yeah.
No, between Goldar and everybody else, like shit, I'm not going to go see that. Goldar and Sprout told me it was a dumpster fire. I'm like, that's good enough for me. And finally, like I couldn't take it anymore, so I got on Wikipedia and read the plot, and I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, it's I mean, come on, man, let's sit around here. Like, a lot of time, what it was one of my famous comparisons I'm always saying, like, you can plot this movie I'm talking about in broad general terms. Like I've seen things like TV shows or movies where if you put all the main points on a whiteboard, it like, man, this looks great, but they just didn't execute it well. No, who in the world let that, like, there's not one person in the around the table went, guys, we could piss a lot of people off if we did this movie. Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Wow.
I think they just didn't know what the hell to do. So they were like, well, we built this up way too much. Like, we're just going to have to like sidestep it and then hope people accept it. And it's like, nope. No.
I mean, from what I read, it's almost like Jamie. Oh, go ahead, Goldar or Narwhal. Sorry.
Well, I think the bigger problem is that they try to take a slasher franchise like Halloween and turn it into an art film. Our film has to be about something. We have to have a message, and they did that for Halloween Kills, and then they did it again for Halloween Ends. They had to have some sort of big message.
The message
in the story. And it's Halloween. We don't need a message. We need Michael Myers to be out
just
there
killing somebody. I don't need a motive.
Kids.
Yeah.
I don't need a motive. Just let him kill somebody.
Yeah. I mean, did we ever really know why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Not really. You know.
And I feel like the film would have been better too if they had just explained that Michael Myers was so evil that he was like some kind of like spirit that was transferring his body from like his spirit from body to body, and that's why it seemed like he could never die because he just kept switching bodies. Like that, I feel like that explanation would have been like the best way to explain it, and then they could have just left it was like, what? Why the fuck did that happen? I don't know. But he just switched bodies because he was fucking evil.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll accept that.
They tried that with Jason, didn't work.
Well, didn't they have a movie with that about and had Denzel Washington that he was chasing and it was an evil spirit?
Oh yeah,
it was the devil. It was fallen.
It was the devil. Fallen, yeah. So basically, he would chase him, and literally by touch, they would transfer. And there was a scene where he keeps walking down the street, and you see him brush, and then he turns back, and he switched bodies. And I was like, that's freaking evil. That's freaking eerie as shit. That you can't catch evil.
And I feel like we would have accepted it by this point because we've forgotten that shit. Like, I don't even remember that we did that in Jason. Like, and I forgot about the movie Fallen too. So I feel like it would have been like at least a serviceable path for them to go to make this film make sense, as long as they kept the focus on Michael Myers and not some fucking, little like fucking school shooter, that just decided he wanted to be a.
From what I read, it was almost like Jamie Lee Curtis said, "Okay, you guys got me for 2 weeks. You got me for 2 weeks. The check is cleared. Shoot me out. Shoot me out in 2 weeks, and then I'm out." So.
Yeah.
But as we all know, Jimmy C don't do that. Jimmy C, like, you're on set for the entire 9 months it takes to make this movie, even though you have 12 scenes.
So here's what I think is going to happen with Avatar, right? So I think Avatar 2 is going to open huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big opening weekend, and I'm willing to bet the dollar that come like weeks 2 and 3, we're going to see those numbers drop way, way low. But here's the thing: they've already got Avatar 3 pretty much in the can. They're doing all the CG work and the editing on it.
Right.
If it fails too badly, it may or may not come out. But we're talking about James Cameron here; it's coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then what's going to happen is when Avatar 3 comes out, those numbers are going to be in the toilets.
Yeah, it's going to be the Matrix all over again. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
guys, we got anything else? Any final comments before we close it out?
Hell no, we even squeezed a review of Halloween Ends. This thing.
Extra value for people.
The only thing we haven't done is talk about the Christmas Story sequel trailer, but we got to save something for the holiday season.
Exactly.
All right, gang. Well, let's sign us off. I want to thank Mr. Narwhal and Goldar and the Reverend IT Geek for joining us tonight. I want to thank everybody who tuned in, and hope to catch us again next week. Until that time, I am Geek Boy for Fanboys 918, signing off.